Yo, what's up, legends? We are about to jump into the biggest unsolved mystery on planet Earth. This is a story that has been watched literally billions of times, has millions of people completely obsessed, and after almost 2 decades, we still don't have all the answers. So buckle up, because this is the disappearance of Madeleine McCann, a 3-part true crime breakdown. Let's go. Picture this, it's May 2007, in Praia de Ilhas, Portugal. We're talking golden beaches, turquoise water, sunsets that look totally fake. It's an absolute paradise. Kate and Gerry McCann, a British couple, both respected doctors, fly in for a week-long holiday. They've brought their 3 young kids, Madeleine, who's almost 4 years old, with her signature blonde hair and that very recognizable little mark in her right eye. And then there are the twins, Sean and Amelia, 2-year-old dynamos. They're not alone. They're on holiday with a group of 7 other British doctor couples and their kids. This is the crew that everyone now calls the Toughest 7. They're all staying in ground floor apartments right by the pool at the Ocean Club Resort. The McCanns are in apartment 5A. It's a corner unit, with patio doors at the back that lead straight to the pool area, and a bedroom window that faces a quiet side road. Every single night, the parents follow the exact same routine. They put the kids to bed around 7:30 p.m., lock the doors, and then the adults walk just 55 meters, literally a 30-second stroll, to the resort's tapas restaurant for dinner. To make sure everything's okay, they have a rotation system. Every half hour, one of them quietly walks back to check on all the sleeping children. This system worked perfectly. Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, zero drama. No problems at all. Then comes Thursday, May 3rd, 2007. This is the night the world changes forever. At 8:30 p.m., dinner starts. The rose is flowing, plates of calamari are being passed around. Everyone's laughing, the vibes are absolutely 100. At 9:05 p.m., Gerry McCann stands up. Yo, I've got the check. He walks back to the apartment, slides in through the unlocked patio door, and quietly opens the kids' bedroom door. He sees Madeleine on top of her covers, cuddling her favorite pink cuddle cat toy. The twins are fast asleep in their travel cots. Everything is perfectly fine. He heads back to the table, arriving by 9:15. At 9:30 p.m., it's their friend Matt Oldfield's turn to do a check. He says, "I've got you guys," and heads over. He doesn't go inside, but he listens at the patio door. He hears no crying, everything seems quiet. He does notice that the children's bedroom door is open a tiny bit more than it was before, but he just shrugs it off. It doesn't seem like a big deal. Back at the table, by 9:55 p.m., the group is having the time of their lives, completely unaware of what's unfolding. Then, at 10 p.m. sharp, it's Kate McCann's turn. She gets up from the table, walks the familiar 30-second path, opens the gate to their apartment, and the second she steps inside, everything feels wrong. There's a dead silence. A cold breeze hits her face, which is strange. She walks into the kids' bedroom, and the door is now wide open. The twins are still fast asleep in their cots, but Madeleine's bed is the empty. The sheets are pulled back. Her pink cuddle cat is just lying there on the bed, looking like it was dropped in a hurry. Panic sets in. Kate frantically checks under the bed, nothing. She looks in the wardrobe, nothing. The bathroom, nothing. And then she sees it. The bedroom window is wide open. The heavy metal shutters, which they always kept closed, are fully raised. In a single, horrifying heartbeat, her entire world ends. She sprints back to the restaurant, screaming words that still echo around the world today. They've taken her. Madeleine's gone, boom. The dinner table explodes into chaos. Gerry bolts from his chair. The rest of the Toughest 7 bolt after him. Within 60 seconds, the entire resort is in a state of pure panic. People are running through the dark streets, yelling Madeleine's name. Flashlights are cutting through the darkness. There's crying, shouting, just utter chaos. The local police show up, but here's where the first massive problem occurs. The first officers on the scene treat the situation like Madeleine just wandered off on her own. Crucially, they don't seal the apartment as a potential crime scene. Friends, resort staff, even random guests are walking in and out for hours, trying to help. Possible footprints under the open window gone. Any potential forensic evidence contaminated. The golden 24 hours in any abduction investigation, the most critical period for gathering evidence. It was completely and utterly wasted. By sunrise, the story is on every single news channel on the planet. British 3-year-old vanishes from holiday bed. The media descends on Praia de Las. Witnesses start coming forward almost immediately. One of the toughest 7, Jane Tanner, reports seeing something at 9:15 p.m., the exact time Gerry was returning to the restaurant. She saw a man hurrying across the road, away from the apartments, carrying a small child in pink pajamas, heading toward the ocean. Then, another sighting. An Irish family walking home around 10 p.m. The exact moment Kate discovered the empty bed, they saw a man carrying a barefoot blonde girl in light-colored pajamas, also walking toward the beach area. The descriptions were similar. The timeline was terrifyingly precise. The case explodes into the biggest missing child story in modern history. Donations pour in, celebrities make appeals, and Madeleine's face is everywhere. The whole world is searching. But then, 4 months later, something happens that absolutely nobody sees coming. The Portuguese police, struggling to find a lead, request help from the UK. Specialized British sniffer dogs are brought in. These aren't just any dogs, they are trained to detect the scent of human remains and blood. The dogs alert inside apartment 5A, specifically near the wardrobe and behind a sofa. But then comes the bombshell. Weeks later, the same dogs go crazy in the trunk of the McCann's rental car of a silver Renault Scenic. This is the crucial part. The McCanns only hired that car 25 days after Madeleine disappeared. Based on this canine evidence, the Portuguese police completely flipped the entire investigation on its head. Suddenly, the focus shifts away from an abduction by a stranger. Kate and Gerry McCann, the grieving parents, are officially named as arguidos, which translates to formal suspects. The global headlines turn absolutely brutal. The parents who had the world's sympathy are now under intense scrutiny. The public narrative shatters. The world starts asking questions that nobody ever thought they would have to ask. Did the parents have something to do with their own daughter's disappearance? And that's when everything gets 100 times darker, and 100 times more complicated. Just for months after Madeleine vanished, a new chapter begins, and it's a dark one. British sniffer dogs are brought into apartment 5A, and they go absolutely wild. They signal a positive alert for the scent of a corpse. Then, they do it again, in the trunk of the rental car the McCanns got 25 days after she disappeared. This changes everything. The Portuguese police perform a complete 180-degree turn. Suddenly, Kate and Gerry McCann are named as official suspects, or arguidos. The global headlines, once so sympathetic, turn brutal. The whole world starts asking questions nobody ever thought they'd have to ask. Was it possible? The parents were involved. It was a shocking twist that divided public opinion and turned the search for a missing child into a trial by media. But here's the thing, that suspect status doesn't stick. It only lasts for about a year. In July 2008, the Portuguese Attorney General announces they are officially archiving the case due to a lack of evidence. Kate and Gerry are cleared. Their arguido status lifted. They walk free. But the damage is done. Their reputation is tarnished, and the investigation hits a wall. The trail goes completely ice cold for over a decade. The world moves on, but for the McCanns, the nightmare never ends. 4 years, there's just silence. The case files gather dust, and hope begins to fade. Then, fast forward to June 3, 2020. Out of the blue, German prosecutors drop the biggest bombshell since the night she disappeared. They hold a press conference and announce they are now treating this as a murder investigation. And for the first time in 13 years, they have a prime suspect. His name is Christian Brueckner. At the time, he's a 47-year-old German national with a long and disturbing criminal record, including convictions for sexual offenses. The details are chilling. in 2007. He lived in a rundown camper van just a 5-minute drive from the Ocean Club resort. And here's the crucial piece of evidence. His phone pinged a cell tower only 500 meters from apartment 5A on the exact night Madeleine vanished. The German prosecutor, Hans Christian Wolters, goes on live television and makes a stunning declaration. "We are 100% certain Christian Brueckner is the person responsible." Boom! The case explodes back into the global spotlight. But 2020 is just the beginning of this new phase. Let us jump to 2024. German police secure a warrant for an old allotment garden Brueckner once rented in northern Germany. They arrive with heavy equipment, including ground-penetrating radar. The radar picks up an anomaly. They discover a concrete foundation that Brueckner had poured himself years before. They bring in jackhammers and start digging. Underneath the concrete, they find disturbed earth, and in that earth, they unearth a collection of horrifying items, some children's clothing, and more importantly, cache of USB sticks, memory cards, and hard drives buried right next to the remains of his old dog. When forensics experts finally crack the encryption on these devices, what they find is sickening. They uncover thousands of disturbing images and videos related to the exploitation of children. One of the digital folders is literally named Praia da Luz, the town where Madeleine disappeared. Detectives state publicly that some of the material is so sensitive, so graphic, they can't even describe it, but they confirm it shows a clear and terrifying pattern of predatory behavior. The discovery sends shockwaves through the investigation, suggesting Brueckner wasn't just in the area, but was actively engaged in horrific crimes against children there. The investigation intensifies. In May of 2025, police raid another property Brueckner used, a secret hideout, and it's the same story all over again. They find more hidden USB drives, more children's items, and more evidence that investigators say makes them feel physically sick. It is a mountain of digital and physical evidence painting a picture of a monster hiding in plain sight. Then, just a month later, in June 2025, a massive 3-day search operation kicks off back in Portugal. German federal police, Portuguese officers, drones, excavators, and cadaver dogs all descend onto key locations. They focus on an area near the Raid Dam and an old farmhouse Brueckner had rented, just 5 kilometers from the Ocean Club. For 3 days, the world watches as they dig. They eventually leave, carrying bags and bags of what they only describe as items of interest, refusing to specify what they've found. And then, September 2025 delivers the most unbelievable twist yet. After all this, Christian Brueckner finishes a 7-year prison sentence he was serving for an unrelated rape, a crime also committed in Praia da Luz. And he walks out of prison. He's technically a free man. He's fitted with an electronic tag, his passport is confiscated, but he is free to live under supervision. It's a moment of pure disbelief for the public. Days before his release, an old associate of his, a man named Helge Busching, goes on television with a shocking claim. He says that back in 2008, Brueckner confessed to him. Busching alleges Brueckner told him he took a little girl from an apartment. It was easy because the parents were eating. Brueckner's lawyer immediately dismisses the claim as total nonsense. Brueckner himself continues to maintain his innocence, insisting he had nothing to do with Madeleine's disappearance. This leaves us with the one question that keeps everyone up at night. If German police are so sure he did it, if they have his phone records, the thousands of files, the witness testimony, and all the items recovered from the searches, why? Why, after 5 years of publicly naming him as the prime suspect, has Christian Brueckner never been charged with any crime related to Madeleine McCann? Let's break this down right now, because this is the most insane part of the whole story. First, the German legal system is completely different from what you might be used to in the UK or the US. Over there, you can't just charge someone with murder because you're pretty sure. You need what they call sufficient factual indications. Basically, you need a body, DNA that can't be argued with, or something so solid a judge can't just throw it out. The German prosecutor, Hans Christian Wolters, has said it himself. We have concrete evidence, but we still need more to go to trial. So what do they actually have right now? and 2025. Let's look at the key pieces. First, the secret second phone. Police found a burner phone. One that wasn't registered to Brueckner but to one of his criminal friends. Here's the bombshell. That phone pinged the exact cell tower right outside apartment 5A at 9:47 p.m. on May 3, 2007. That's just 13 minutes before Kate McCann walked in and found the bed empty. 13 minutes. That is the tightest, most specific window of time we have ever had in this entire investigation. It places him right at the scene, at the critical moment. Next, there's the hidden well at Brueckner's old farmhouse. This place is just 5 kilometers from the Ocean Club, hidden deep in the basement of the house he used to live in. Crucially, it has never been fully drained. Divers went down back in 2023, but the visibility was absolute zero. They couldn't see a thing. They tried again in June 2025 with better, more advanced cameras, and they still couldn't see the bottom. But here's the breaking news. Right now, in December 2025, German and Portuguese police are quietly preparing a brand new, state-of-the-art robotic submarine, custom-built for this exact task. The plan is to send it down in early 2026. If anything is down there, if anything was ever thrown into that well, this little robot could be the thing that finds it. This could be the moment everything changes. Then we have the raid dam evidence. You remember the massive search in June 2025. Police spent days combing the area and took away several sealed bags labeled items of interest. The results from the lab analysis are still top secret, but sources close to the investigation are saying that some of those items are being DNA tested against Madeleine's profile as we speak. The fact that they're even at the DNA testing stage is huge. We are waiting, on the edge of our seats, for those results. And then there's the 2025 witness nobody saw coming. A former Ocean Club worker came forward this year with a chilling new story. This person claims that Brueckner was a fixture at the resort's tapas restaurant, hanging around every single night during the week the McCanns were there. The witness alleges that Brueckner would sit and watch the doctor's table, the table where Kate and Gerry sat with their friends. He allegedly bragged to locals that he knew exactly which apartments were left unlocked and when the parents went to dinner. Police took this person's official statement in October 2025, and it is now a crucial part of the official case file. This isn't just a random tip, it's a formal statement. Finally, we have held Bushing's full 2025 interview. You'll remember Bushing as the guy who first tipped off the police about Brueckner way back in 2017. Well, this year, he went deeper. He now says that years ago, Brueckner showed him a video on a camcorder. He describes the video as showing a little blonde girl in distress. Bushing admits he can't swear that it was Madeleine, but he says the timing and the description of the girl match perfectly. And that camera. Police believe it might be one of the very devices they dug up from under a concrete slab in 2024. The data from those devices is still being analyzed. So with all of this, the phone ping, the well, the damn evidence, the new witness, the video claim, why are there still no charges? The simple, frustrating answer is because every single piece of this is circumstantial. The phone ping puts him close, but it doesn't put him inside the apartment. The well hasn't been fully searched yet. So there's no physical proof from there. The witness statements are powerful, but there's still second-hand accounts of what Brueckner allegedly said or did. And the buried hard drives, while filled with horrific material, have had nothing on them publicly linked to Madeleine McCann. Yet, under German law, it all comes back to one hard rule: no body, no murder charge. That is the brick wall they keep hitting, time and time again. So, here's the December 2025 update. Christian Brueckner is currently living in a secret woodland camp in northern Germany. He's reportedly guarded by friends and a pit bull. His ankle tag is still on, tracking his movements, but in a shocking development, a court just lifted his travel ban. Technically, he could leave Germany tomorrow. Meanwhile, the UK's investigation, Operation Grange, just received another £108,000 to keep it running into 2026. The total cost of that investigation has now surpassed £13.2 million. And just a few weeks ago, Kate and Gerry McCann posted their annual message of hope, saying, "The investigation continues. We live in hope, legends. We are literally standing on the edge of history with this case. If that robotic sub finds something in the well, if the DNA from the 2025 raid dam bags comes back as a positive match, if the lab finally cracks one more encrypted file on those buried hard drives, 2026 could be the year the biggest true crime mystery of our lifetime finally ends." I need to know what you think. Drop a comment right now. Do you think they'll find that final, definitive piece of evidence in 2026? Smash that follow button and turn on your notifications, because the second anything breaks on this story, and I mean the absolute second, I'm dropping an emergency video to cover it. Thank you for riding this insane 3-part journey with me. Madeleine McCann would be 22 years old today. Someone, somewhere, still knows exactly what happened on May 3, 2007. Never stop asking questions. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.